brewers. Well, it's the end of the Czech Pale Lager brew day. Good morning, brewers. This morning I'm brewing the Brew It Yourself Challenge number 3, the Czech Pale Lager. So my recipe for this is 2.8 kilos of Pilsner malt and 0.7 kilos of Munich malt, light Munich. So I wanted to get that malty flavour without having to do any decoction or anything, so I'm just trialling to see if the Munich gets me the desired flavour profile I want. You might wonder what I'm doing with the Grainfather over here and the basket going into a separate pot. I'm trialling something new with this today. I'm trying to do a batch sparge, so I'll drain this lot first, and then I'll do a batch sparge back into here with what I would normally fly sparge with. So I'll let you know the results. And I thought I would just share with you a couple of things that I learned about brewing with the Grainfather and doing the batch sparge. So the batch sparge worked out really well. I was spot on with my numbers, both pre and post boil, and I found that it added about 10 minutes to my brew day. So I might try that again next time with my next brew as well. So at the moment I have that particular brewing in my fermenter at 9.2 at the moment, so I've got it set at 10 degrees. I've got it set at 10 degrees, and so it'll fluctuate around that time. And while I've got you, I just thought I would mention a couple of really useful things to keep around in your, well, dungeon, wherever you brew your beer, besides the temperature controller. I have built one myself, which is over there, but it's plugged in, so I can't show you. And that's an STC 1000, and you can find, just Google STC 1000 wiring and you'll get how to do it yourself. But a few of the essentials to keep around your brewing area, especially for brew day. One is a set of scales. I have a couple really super sensitive scales, and these ones as well. These are mainly for grain. The super sensitive ones are for hops. The other is a kettle. Any kettle will do, something that can get to boiling temperature quickly, and that helps with if you're slightly under with your brewing water, or with your all grain batch of your volume. And if you add boiling water, it'll get to boil temperature quicker because that's when you add it. And if you're doing an extract, well, boiling water is a lot faster than cold water to dissolve your products, whatever adjuncts you're using. And finally, small fermenters. Now, if you brew the same beer every time and you know what you want, then by all means stick with the 23 to 30 litre fermenters, or bigger if you like. If you're like me, who rarely brew 2 batches of the same type because you want to keep trialling and erroring and then working out which ones are good and which ones are average and which ones are poor, then get yourself some smaller fermenters. If you do an all grain batch, you can also split the batch to trial different yeasts. and also add fruit or whatever other flavours you might like, and you can compare it to the base model. And these are just fantastic, because even if you're an extract brewer and you want to put just taste what a can tastes like, but you're not sure if you want to make a full batch, then these are perfect to just add one single can of extract with no adjuncts, and then you get a taste, you get a flavour of what it's like at full strength. And if you like it at full strength, then you'll just love it when it's when you've added your own adjuncts to balance it a bit more. So and make sure when you do use any fermenters with your airlocks, fill the airlocks with, this is my Star San spray bottle, fill it with Star San, and then that way when you if pressure changes and it sucks back in, for example if you forget to relieve the pressure when you're bottling and it sucks a bit of fluid in, the Star San won't be affected by any air that it's reacting with, so it'll still be sterile and sanitized, so you won't have any reaction to any of your bottles. So yeah, the Czech Pale Lager went off without a hitch. The batch sparge in the Grainfather was great. Now the grain bill, as I discussed, was 2.8 kilos of Pilsner malt and 0.75 kilos of light Munich malt, and that was to give it a maltier flavour without having to do any decoction mashing. I was spot on with my gravities of 1041 for starting gravity, and I added my Pilsner yeast that I used when I made this Cooper's Lager extract beer. The hops were simple. It was 35 grams of SARS hops at 90 minutes for 0 minutes, and it was a 90-minute boil. And then at 10 minutes I added another 30 grams of SARS hops for IBUs of 30.4 thereabouts, according to Beersmith. Then at 0 minutes I straight out, no whirlpool, removed the hops and just racked it straight to the fermenter. It took me a few hours to get it to pitching temperature, and then once it got to there at 12 degrees, 10 degrees, I added my Urquell yeast, and now it's fermenting. So I'll see you in 42 days for a tasting of that Pilsner or Czech Pale Lager. Cheers.